It happened, not with a fleet of silver ships tearing through the clouds, and not with some cryptic message beamed from the void, a whisper of infrared light caught by a telescope floating 1,000,000 miles from home. It happened on what felt like any other Tuesday, and, for a few agonizing hours, then days, only a handful of scientists knew, their entire world tilting on its axis as they checked and rechecked the numbers, their hearts pounding in the silent vacuum of their discovery. Of course, this day hasn't actually happened yet. As of right now, we are still, as far as we know, totally alone. But for the first time ever, the question of alien life has moved out of philosophy and sci-fi and into the lab. The tools are built. The search is on. The script for that world-changing day is already being written by our own relentless curiosity. So, what would it really be like? What would happen, step by step, in the hours, days, and weeks after we find undeniable proof that we're not alone in the universe? This is the story of that discovery. A thought experiment, a dress rehearsal for reality. This is what happens when we discover life on another planet. The quest for an answer. For as long as we've had minds to wonder, we've looked up at the night sky and asked the same question. Is anybody out there? Our ancestors painted cosmic hunts on cave walls and saw guards in the constellations. We told stories of moon men and canal builders on Mars. The question is just part of who we are. It is one of the deepest expressions of being human, to look out into the infinite and search for a reflection. For most of our history, that search was all in our imagination. But, as our science got better, so did our tools. We pointed massive radio dishes at the heavens, listening for a whisper in the cosmic static. We sent rovers to sift the red dust of Mars, and still, nothing. The universe was stubbornly, unnervingly silent. This great silence led to a great paradox, the Fermi paradox. In a universe with trillions of stars, and even more planets, where is everybody? The silence was so profound, it almost felt like an answer. But in the 21st century, the search changed. We realized we might be looking for the wrong thing. Instead of listening for a phone call from ET, we started looking for the simplest, most basic evidence of life itself. We started searching for biosignatures, gases in the atmospheres of distant planets that just shouldn't be there without life. Think about it. On Earth, life has totally transformed our atmosphere, pumping it full of gases like oxygen and methane. Finding a similar chemical imbalance on a world light years away, that would be the smoking gun. This new search needed a new kind of eye, one that could do something that sounds like magic. Analyze the air on a planet orbiting a faraway star. That eye is the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST. When a planet passes in front of its star, a tiny bit of starlight filters through its atmosphere. JWST can catch that light and break it down, reading the chemical fingerprint of a world we will never visit. For the first time, we could not just find other worlds, but know what they were made of. The stage was set. The anomaly, our hypothetical discovery, starts with a real target, a planet called K218b. It's about 124 light, and it's what scientists call a Hycean world. That means it's bigger than Earth, and could be covered in a deep, warm ocean, hidden under a thick, hydrogen-rich atmosphere. It's also in the Goldilocks zone, where the temperature is just right for liquid water. For years, K218b has been a top candidate, and JWST has already given us some clues about its air. In our story, scientists are digging through new data from this world. They confirm what they've seen before: methane and carbon dioxide. That's interesting, but it's not life. Simple geology can make those gases. So the science teams keep looking. They're hunting for a ghost in the data molecule so weird, so out of place, that rocks and water can't explain it. They're looking for a molecule that, on our planet, is basically a flashing sign that says life was here, and then they find it, a faint, but persistent, signal. The spectral signature for dimethyl sulfide, or DMS here on Earth. DMS is a pretty humble gas. It's a key part of the smell of the ocean, produced almost entirely by tiny marine life, like phyte. And in the real world, JWST has already detected a tantalizing hint of this very molecule at K218b, a signal too weak to be sure. But it got a lot of people very excited. In our story, that hint is about to become a show. The reveal, the first detection of DMS, is just a tiny blip in the data. There's a decent chance it's just random noise. It triggers a flurry of quiet, frantic emails between scientists, but nothing public. You don't rewrite history based on a blip. An extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence. So, the world's most powerful telescope is pointed back at that one pale dot. more time is granted. As the hours of data pile up, the faint signal starts to grow. It gets sharper. The noise fades away, and the signature of DMs comes into focus, clear as a bell. The team runs the numbers again. And again, the signal gets stronger and stronger until it hits a statistical significance of 5 sigma. 5 sigma is the gold standard. It means there is only a 1 in 3.5 million chance that what they're seeing is a random fluke. In the quiet of a university lab, a species that once huddled around fires telling stories about the stars has just found the first credible evidence that it is not alone. But even that isn't enough. Science has to be skeptical. The data is shared with other teams around the world with one simple goal: prove this wrong. They try everything. Could some bizarre volcano make DMs in a hydrogen atmosphere? Could comets have dropped it off? Is there some unknown chemical reaction happening in the clouds? Every alternative is tested, and every model of a dead planet fails to explain the sheer amount of DMs the telescope sees. The concentrations are thousands of times stronger than what we find on Earth. Weeks turn into months, and, one by one, the independent teams all come to the same conclusion. The signal is real, it's robust, and the only explanation that fits the data is life. The announcement the second that scientific consensus is reached. This stops being a purely scientific matter. It becomes an event for all of humanity. This kind of news isn't going to leak in a tweet. For decades, scientists have actually planned for this moment, creating post-detection protocols to make sure a discovery this big is announced in a clear and responsible way. Picture a press conference, broadcast everywhere from a place like the United Nations. The heads of NASA, the European Space Agency, and others take the stage. They're joined by thinkers and diplomats. The entire world holds its breath. A lead scientist, the face of decades of work, steps to the microphone. Their voice is steady, but you can feel the weight of their words. Good morning. For all of human history, we have looked to the stars and wondered if we are alone. Today, we have an answer. After years of observation and months of rigorous, independent verification from the international scientific community, we have reached a historic conclusion. The James Webb Space Telescope has detected a powerful and persistent biosignature in the atmosphere of the exoplanet K21AB. We have concluded, with the highest degree of scientific confidence, that the source of this chemical is biological. We have found life. The words ripple across the planet in an instant. News alerts flash on billions of screens. The internet breaks and then reforms around this one fact. People pour out of their offices and homes, gathering in public squares, not in panic, but in a state of shared awe. They look up at the same sky their ancestors watched, but now see it in a completely new light. The world hasn't been invaded. It has been expanded. We are no longer the universe's only child. We are simply the first one we've met. The philosophical impact the day after, the sun rises on a different world. The earth still turns, traffic is still awful, but the invisible architecture of how we see ourselves has been permanently changed. Finding even microbes 700 trillion miles away sets off a philosophical chain reaction that touches everything. First, our cosmic loneliness is gone. That deep, existential dread that has haunted human thought for thousands of years just evaporates. The universe is no longer a sterile, empty place that got lucky once. It's a place that is fundamentally hospitable to biology. Finding a second, independent origin of life, a second genesis, implies that life isn't a miracle. It's a common, maybe even inevitable, outcome of physics and chemistry. The universe, it turns out, is programmed to be alive. This sends shockwaves through our belief system. For centuries, many religions and philosophies have been built around the idea that humanity is special. Some faiths might see this as proof of an infinitely creative God. Others, whose beliefs are more tied to the idea of human primacy, could face a real crisis. Does this alien life have a soul? Does it fit into a divine plan that was centered on Earth? This would also be the next great demotion of humanity. First, Copernicus showed us we weren't the center of the universe. Then, Darwin showed we were a part of the animal kingdom. This discovery would be the third and final step. We are not the point of the universe, we are just a point. But in a way, this demotion is also a promotion. We're no longer a cosmic fluke. We are part of a universal biological community. We are Earthlings, yes, but we are also citizens of a living cosmos. The very definition of life itself would expand. The life on K218b isn't building cities. It's probably just a planetary film of microbes in an alien ocean. But its existence proves that life can pop up in conditions totally different from our own. Under a dim red star, in a hydrogen-rich atmosphere. If simple life is common, then the chances are complex and even intelligent life somewhere out there go way, way up. The great silence of the universe no longer feels like an absence of life, but merely an absence of conversation. And what about us? How would this change how we act? Some think it would be a unifying moment. Faced with a true other, maybe humanity would finally see itself as one people. Our petty squabbles might seem pretty small in the face of such a cosmic truth. Maybe we'd even be better caretakers of our own planet, now that we know just how precious any world teeming with life really is. The future, the discovery of life on K2ATNB, isn't an ending. It's the beginning of a whole new chapter for humanity. The single question, are we alone, is instantly replaced by 1,000 new ones. What is this life? Is it, like us, based on carbon and water? Does it use DNA? Or is it something truly alien, based on a chemistry we can't even imagine? For the foreseeable future, our only tools to answer this would be we'd become cosmic archaeologists, studying a living world we can never touch. Is the life there just microbes, or has it evolved into something more complex? Are there alien plants, alien animals swimming in that deep, dark ocean? And of course, the biggest question of all, is any of it smart? A thriving biosphere would make that seem much more likely. The search for intelligent signals would be renewed with a passion and funding we've never seen before. We would be cosmic pen pals with a world we can never visit. A probe sent with today's technology would take tens of thousands of years to get there. For generations, K218b would remain a point of light, but a point of light that had changed everything. It would be a touchstone, a constant reminder. Every future telescope would be built with that world in mind. Every kid would learn its name in school. That day, the day of the announcement, hasn't come yet. The real signal from K218b is still just a hint, debated by scientists. More data is needed before anyone can say for sure. But this thought experiment isn't just a fantasy. It's a dress rehearsal for what could easily be the most profound discovery in human history. The search is real, the technology is here, and many scientists believe it is only a matter of time. What do you think would be the biggest change to our society? Would finding life out there bring us together, or would it just create new fears? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. For now, we remain, as far as we know, the only ones here. We look up at the night sky, but no longer with a sense of lonely finality. We look with anticipation. We listen to the great silence, knowing now that it might not be empty, but just quiet. And we keep searching, knowing that, at any moment, a single photon of light, after a journey of over 100 years, could land on a gilded mirror and change our story forever.